Welcome back to the Delaware Way. Now to talk more about the Dow DuPont merger. I use that term loosely. Is John Boyd, who is a principal at the Boyd Company. He deals with companies moving, taking over each other, merging, and so let me start with the idea of a merger. This isn't a merger, right?
Right. Dow appears to have the upper hand here, and look, there's serious ramifications now for the Delaware business climate. 1,700 workers now are without a job. The families all throughout the state are going to be impacted by this.
Right, and that's where I was going with this, because to that point, if it's a Dow takeover, that's going to hurt the state of Delaware, and that's what it appears to be.
Well, round one has been the initial job cuts. It looks like the C division, the Pioneer division, is going to Iowa. That's a very coveted part of the industry, quite frankly. You think about world hunger and the role of agriculture and food sciences. I think the company is somewhat committed to keeping the chemicals division here in Delaware.
What they call material sciences?
Right,
that's going to stay, yeah.
Specialty products.
Right.
Albeit a much smaller presence in the state. Again, 1,700 layoffs announced before Christmas, of course, related to the SEC filing. It's necessary to do that. But look, this is really a pivot point for the state of Delaware to kind of re-engineer and recalibrate its business climate, just the way that DuPont is in the process of restructuring its corporate identity.
Oh, you, the eternal optimist. Let's get to that in one second. I just want to finish up with the Dow DuPont relationship. They say there's going to be a headquarters here, a shared headquarters. There's going to be one in Michigan, one here, right?
Ultimately, there'll be one headquarters. You'd expect
the DuPont headquarters is going to go away.
I think so, and this, I think the Dow facility is an hour and a half north of Detroit. They've recently invested in that facility. Ultimately, Delaware will have a vacant suburban campus on its hands. There's a precedent for dealing with that. Delaware should look to its neighbor in New Jersey, how New Jersey has recalibrated its incentive programs to modernize and repurpose some of our vacant suburban office complexes.
So you see this as a potential positive for the state?
Absolutely. They call economics the dismal science. For every negative, there's a positive. It's the job, it's the responsibility of the governor and of economic development officials here to really make the case, to leverage this into something positive. How can they do that? Well, look, several hundred highly skilled, highly trained chemical engineers are now in the labor market. That's a very effective, powerful recruiting tool for the state of Delaware to site-seeking companies in the $1 trillion plastics and chemicals industry. When you couple that with Delaware's low-cost profile among its neighbors, that can be leveraged into an effective recruiting tool. Also, look, it's very likely a lot of these laid-off PhDs and chemical engineers will start their own businesses. So the other thing that government needs to do here is create some powerful incentives to encourage entrepreneurial activity.
That's a potential long-term positive. In the short term, however, it's going to have a negative effect on the economy of Delaware, no?
Well, there's all sorts of multiplier effects here. This is devastating for a small state like Delaware. Above and beyond the 1,700 jobs lost, you think about the effect on the housing market, the retail markets. But hopefully these are highly trained workers that can quickly find new employment. And hopefully many will start jobs.
But the key to that is bringing in more companies.
Absolutely.
The key to that is bringing in more businesses to Delaware.
An industry attraction program is critical for the state of Delaware. One thing that we don't like, in the governor's last budget, he slashed funding for incentives. I can't think of a worse time to do that.
Yeah. No, so in this election coming up, this should be.
This should be an issue. And
maybe after Wilmington crime, this should be the top issue.
This needs to be a top issue. Another top issue is right to work. I know we've talked about this before. Half the states today are right to work states. It's politically contentious, but the national momentum is clearly in favor of right to work. You need leaders in Delaware to take a national perspective and articulate this to the people of Delaware, to say how powerful a recruiting tool this will be to help Delaware attract new advanced manufacturing industry.
John, you keep riding this horse in Delaware. You've got a Democratic
It's politically contentious, but who would think right to work would ever happen in Michigan or Wisconsin or Indiana? All right, so, and look, it's a Supreme Court decision we're expecting this year that may have right to work implications for every public sector job in the country. So,
But you are convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if Delaware were to do right to state, especially because of its location, they would benefit immensely.
there would be enormous PR and branding value for being the first mid-Atlantic state to become a right-to-work state. There's no question about that.
Great. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry.
It's always great to talk to you. John Boyd, principal of the Boyd Company. When we come back, do you have a small business? How about free mentoring? We have the program for you when Delaware Way continues.